Any New Yorker who lived through the summer of 1977 remembers it well. Record heat wave, citywide blackout, the Yankees were winning, and a serial killer who called himself Son of Sam terrorized the city. Spike Lee's new film, Summer of Sam, examines the hysteria that enveloped the city that summer. And here is the trailer.
Hey, I had a real good...
Stop it! Nobody gets in my neighborhood without me knowing it.
You think I'm the Son of Sam?
Touchstone Pictures presents.
Joining me now, the director Spike Lee, later two of the film stars, John Leguizamo and Mira Sorvino. I am pleased to have Spike Lee back at this table. Welcome back.
Glad to be back.
Tell me about, I see you've got your Knicks T-shirt on, NBA Finals 1999.
Right.
How hard was that for you to take, getting so close yet so far?
Well, I thought I was going to be more disappointed, but as I watched that shot fall short, then read the next day, the refs said it was after the buzzer anyway. Without Patrick Ewing, we just came as far as we could come, and what more can you ask for? But we got to win next year, though.
But this was a great season.
Great year. Great year.
An abbreviated season, but you saw the emergence of two
we were tied up,
great stars.
We were 500, 21-21 season in turmoil. Grunfeld got fired. The first eighth seed to make it to the NBA Finals, and Spree played his butt off. You know, him and Tim Duncan were going at it. It was a great game.
Amazing.
It was an amazing game.
Game number 5.
Yes.
Amazing game.
I mean, you were there.
I was there, and so were you, and we weren't that far apart. But just to see these two extraordinary athletes of very different temperament, very different style, but both very good. They're very different size.
But they were going
at it. It was all almost in a. I mean, it was extraordinary.
It was a great game.
There's no chance that New York would ever trade Spree well.
No. I mean,
he wants to come back. He loves the team. He loves the city.
I know everybody wants to trade either Spree or Houston for a point guard, but it's not going to happen.
Well, only if it's Gary Payton.
That's not even going to happen. Both of those guys will be here next year.
And so, who's the point guard?
You got Charlie Ward and Chris Childs.
Will that do it?
We made the finals with them with no Patrick. No, but I think that across the board, 1 through 12, everybody has to come back better. I mean, that's what made Jordan so great.
Summer of Sam. Mm-hmm. Tell me about deciding to make this movie and what it is you want to do.
Well, as I've had to come to my own defense in so many times.
Why do you stir up so much controversy?
I don't know what it is. When I sit down and do a film, I do not say, what controversial subject matter can I choose? That is not the way I operate. I choose stories that are interesting to me, stories I feel passionate about. So it has nothing to do with the controversial index level, whatever that is. I was here. I'm a New Yorker. I was here during that summer. I remember the heat. I remember all the things that happened that summer. I remember sitting behind Reggie Jackson in the right field bleachers in Yankee Stadium. You know, I remember I could not find a job that summer. So the whole summer I ran around New York with a Super 8 camera just documenting stuff. And when this script was brought to me by Mike Imperioli, one of the co-writers, along with Victor Cluccio, Michael now of Sopranos fame, I said, I love this script. At first, I wanted Michael to direct it. I was going to executive produce. We could not get it set it up. I did a rewrite 2 or 3 years later. Took it to Joe Roth at Disney. We already done. He got game for him. He said, fine, let's make the film.
So you were off and running.
Off and running.
What went into your sense of story and your sense of casting?
Well, I would just like to say that this film is not different from how I approach stuff, because I mean, I get crazy questions. So Spike, now this is a predominantly white cast. Did you have to do anything different? That's an asinine question.
Or I'll give you another one. Spike, the first time the lead in your film has not been an African American.
It's not true. Daniela was the lead in Do the Right Thing. Harvey Keitel was the lead in Clockers. I mean, people who say this stuff don't even know my body of work. So they're talking out the side of their neck. I mean, so anyway, I did not have any different approach to this film. because of the subject matter, not because of the casting, not because I work with actors. We wanted, anytime I do a film, I want the best actors possible for these roles. Simple as that. And we feel we got them. We feel they gave great performances too. And I'm happy that John and Mira are gonna, be in the latest segment of this show.
What do you think your obligation is and was to the victims' families?
My obligation to the families of the victims was to do a film that was not disrespectful, to do a film at the same time to not glorify and glamorize David Berkowitz, which the New York Times did. When the New York Times, not yesterday, but last Sunday, when they put an article on the front page of the Sunday Times, where they go up to upstate New York and ask his mass murderer what does he feel about the movie, my question is, who cares? Since when do we find out what is moral and ethical from someone who's killed 6 people? And the whole slant of the article by Blaine Hardin, he came in smelling of talcum powder. He began to weep quietly as he talked about the victims. If he had to do it all over again, he said, well, I would have had a family and just stayed at the post office. I used to be the son of Sam. Now I'm the son of Hope. And people name their children after me. And what that Times article did, they made me switch places. I was the serial killer, and he was a sympathetic character. And on top of that, Charlie, the writer, of course I said that word, he included a paragraph that named my wife and my 2 children. And the editor, whoever edited that piece, should be hitting the head with a baseball bat for allowing that to stay in the article. There's no reason in the world why they had to include that sentence where this mass murderer talks about my children. That was totally unprofessional journalism. It was just plain stupid.
What was it about? I mean, I didn't understand. I mean,
did you read the article?
Yes. I remember what Sam said. Somebody, my friends or something, going to read this, and we know his family didn't. Something to that effect, right?
He said,
what did Sam say?
He said, I monitor everything Spike Lee does, and I pray for his wife Tanya, and then he names my 2 children.
And so, what do you think that was about?
It was a threat.
But he was just mouthing off.
You want to talk to my wife after this?
No.
Let me ask you a question.
All right. Then
you want to talk to my wife after the show over and ask her what she feels?
She feels it was a threat, and
yes,
she's scared.
She
and she's scared because she thinks there are people out there who listen to this guy.
Yes, it doesn't have to. He's locked up. He has 6 and 7 life terms. But anytime you put out negative energy, a whole lot of crazy people in the world. So to say that doesn't matter, I beg to differ. And I really. The New York Times, they messed up on that one.
So, but how do you feel about you just characterizing somebody that would take a bat and hit the editor over the head?
I take that the same way they did to me when they quote a mass murderer and say praise to my daughter and my son.
Okay, but
that's the way I take it.
You don't want to see somebody go hit the editor with a bat, do you?
Hey, I don't want my children named by a mass murderer either. And they could easily taken it out. There's no reason why that sentence had to be included in that article. And the whole slant of the article, trying to make a sympathetic character, a sympathetic person out of somebody who's killed 6 people. Why ask him what he thinks about the movie? Why did he shoot these people 22 years ago? Why go to him 22 years later? So, do you think the film should be made? What kind of slant is that, Charlie?
Right. Okay, I hear you, but I want to just make sure I understand the full ramification of what you're saying. Do you believe that he should not have been interviewed, or is it just he should not have been interviewed?
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about
the way
quote,
this story was written and what was included in the story.
And the quote. I did not sit here at this round table and say David Berkowitz should not have been interviewed. I did not say that.
Okay, I'm asking.
Okay, I did not say that.
But you think it should have been edited, and you think that the editor should.
Look, I was joking with the baseball bat, but still, you should have been at my house.
Tell me about being at your house when she read that.
Let me drink the sip of water.
Okay.
That's enough about that. But anyway, I had to get it off my chest because that was just.
Did you call him up?
Oh yeah.
And what did he say?
I call up him. I call up Howell Raines. I call up the editors. No one wanted to account for it.
But what did they say? I mean, did they say we don't want to account for it, or
No,
did they say?
You know what this guy Blaine did?
No.
He said, "I said, what did you feel when?" He said that. He said, "It was chilling." If you felt that, then why'd you put it in the article then?
What did he say to that?
Well, why don't you take this up with my editor?
How about the families? Did you talk to the victims' families?
No.
Why not?
Because that I know in my heart of hearts, there's nothing in the world that I could ever say that's going to bring back their children, that's going to heal their wounds. I'm in a no-win situation. And also, let me ask you this. Is this the first film in the history of cinema where some event in a film, some people have died? Let me ask you a question. Did you see JFK?
Yes.
What about that scene in the courtroom?
You mean Oliver Stone's JFK?
Yes.
Right.
Where Kevin Costner is saying, what do you say, to the front? Remember when they keep rewinding? Mm-hmm. Does anyone ever talk about that? What John Jr., where they have to see in a film where
what the family might feel if they're seeing
the Gruden tape going back and forth, where you see a bullet going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And I'm the first filmmaker in the history of cinema that's done a film. This film's not even about Son of Sam, anyway. But I'm the first one that's done a film that's affected the people had loved ones that were lost. In the history of the cinema, I'm the only one.
No.
Hey, according to the New York Post, I am. Every day they're killing me. Column after column. Not only that, but now they changed their attack. Now I'm a racist. I'm a racist now.
So what do you
This
think?
film is stereotypical images of Italian Americans, and I'm a racist. I mean, but the thing about it, though, people are smart, and they see this stuff as BS, and they're gonna go see the film and make up their own minds. Because this guy, people telling me about Steve Dunleavy. I mean, he was
a columnist for the New York Post.
Yeah, man. I mean, did you know that Rupert Murdoch?
Rupert Murdoch, the owner of the Post.
You know he was mad that Son of Sam was writing Jimmy Breslin? He was mad because he was not writing the Post. He was writing the Daily News, where Jimmy Breslin was
writing his column.
Right. I mean, how is it? I'm taking advantage of this. The Post and Daily News double their circulation. During all this time, the Post has started a whole week series called The Summer of Sam.
The weekend coverage was extensive.
No, even it's going to the rest of the week till the movie opens Friday.
Well, is this good or bad for you?
Hey, what I'm saying is, why are there two sets of rules here? I'm taking advantage of the family. I'm making money. At the same time, they have a whole series now called The Summer of Sam.
Point's well taken.
And these headlines you see in the film, I did not make up the headlines in these movies. These headlines are from the Post and the Daily News, who both doubled their circulation during this summer because of that. And both these tabloids, in addition to the newspapers, helped fan the hysteria that engulfed New York City that summer 1977.
Okay, let's talk about the film itself. How closely does it follow the story of Sam Berkowitz?
It does not follow him. This film is a look at...
David, I said Sam. David. Son of Sam.
This film is a look at the hysteria, the mayhem, the chaos caused by the evil deeds of David Berkowitz.
How city can become...
terrorized. In this film, the .44 caliber killer, Son of Sam, David Berkowitz, is evil cloud that hovers over, an evil presence that hovers over the whole film. And you see how this presence, combined with the record heat wave, made New York City, New Yorkers lose their mind that summer.
Roll tape. This is a scene in which Richie, who's played by Adrian Brody, has returned to the neighborhood dressed, as you might have seen in the trailer, as a punk rocker.
Did it as of last night. Got evicted.
You stop talking like that.
You've been in London too?
No, but it's all in the attitude. It's all in the attitude.
The attitude.
Adrian Brody, major talent.
Major talent, Jen Esposito, Leguizamo, Mira Sorvino, and you have your stalwarts like Ben Gazzara, Bebe Neuwirth, Patti LuPone, John Savage, Anthony LaPaglia, Roger Smith. So we have a great ensemble cast for this film.
Did you have any sense that this controversy that we have gotten involved in would take place if you were doing this? Did it had any warning, any indication from anybody that, you know?
Charles, this is my 12th film in 13 years. So it has not surprised me when anything comes up from one of my films. As I said before, maybe I'm a lightning rod or not, but I do not go into projects seeking controversy. You know, it's not the way I operate. All I want to do is tell stories that interest me.
Well, did this story interest you before it was brought to you?
Yes. Very much so.
How do you choose what's interesting to you? I mean, how do you decide?
It's something I have to feel passionate about. I mean, people don't know this, but to make a good film has to be one of the hardest things known to humankind. There's so many factors that go into making a good film. And like filmmakers who are passionate about this, we kill ourselves to do this. So you spend a year, 2 years in Malcolm X, that took 2 years. That's time out of your life, and you have to have that passion for the subject matter, for the story, whatever it is that makes you want to go ahead and persevere.
Are you a different filmmaker than you were, say, 5 years ago?
Oh, I'm a better filmmaker.
Better?
Better filmmaker.
Because of what?
Because I know more. I have better command of film grammar. That's how you tell a film, by film grammar. And I'm learning to tell stories better. My storytelling is better. And also, I understand that I always need to get better. When a master like the late Akira Kurosawa, who said when in his 80s, there was still a universe of filmmaking he did not know. That's a very humbling, thing to hear. And it just made me know that it's going to be continuous woodshedding for me. Always in the woodshed, always learning, trying to get better.
Here's another clip from Summer of Sam, in which the boys from the neighborhood think Reggie Jackson could be.
So what kind of gun did the killer use? 44 caliber, right? What's Reggie's number? 44.
All right, let me just finally end with a couple of things. One, why this business about Italian Americans? I mean, what's at issue there?
Charlie, what they're trying to do is undermine the film. Simple as that. And because of my films, what's the best way to undermine Spike Lee? His films like Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X films have dealt with racism. So the way to undermine Spike Lee and his credibility is to say he's a racist. And to say that he's doing what he's always talked about. Simple as that.
So it's all about undermining you?
The film.
Undermining the film?
Yes.
So that the film won't do well at the box office, so therefore drive people away from going to see your film.
Right, and just, and knock my credibility as a social commenter. Simple as that.
Where does it begin?
Where does it begin?
Yeah, in other words, who decides? How does that kind of...
All you have to do is put one thing out in the universe, and it gets picked up. Simple as that. First, as I said before, first I was I was in it for the money. I was just exploiting the victims' families, and they ran with that. And now the new thing is this film is stereotypical of Italian Americans.
Did the protest against whatever it is, did it reach Eisner and Roth, and did they get involved?
There's no reason for them to get involved because they've been behind the film from the very beginning, even though it's reported differently by this lady at the LA Times. They've been supportive of my work. He Got Game, this film. They stand behind it, and they're going after it with advertising dollars, and they film this. This film can do very well. So,
what are you working on now?
Well, according to New York Post, I need 2 bodyguards.
Not true.
That's what the Post says.
You came here with bodyguards?
No, but that's what the Post says. The guy said, if I were Italian American, Spike Lee would need bodyguards.
Finally, casting Leguizamo and Sorvino.
Again, the 2 best people for the part. There was some undercurrent. Some of the people involved in the project that John Leguizamo was wrong for the part because he not had the blood. But I felt that he's such a great actor. Al Pacino wasn't Cuban. Natalie Wood wasn't Puerto Rican in West Side Story. So we'd go down the line where, it's all about double standards. We do it this way, it's all right. Elizabeth Taylor, let me tell you, Cleopatra did not have the skin complexion of Elizabeth Taylor.
Darker.
Listen, and I always get a Marty about. I said, Marty, Last Temptation of Christ, I think Jesus was. He always laughs too. So I just felt that John Leguizamo, he's a great actor, and that was never brought up anymore. That he's not Italian American. People see this movie, he's great.
Thank you.
And you're gonna have him on now.
With that introduction, thank you, my friend.
Okay.
Spike Lee, good to see you.
Okay.
Summer of Sam is the movie coming up next. Mira Sorvino and John Leguizamo. Stay with us.